So now that that is out of the way, the topic of today, the short topic, before I take your questions, is the fact that a calorie surplus is not necessary to build muscle. There is an exclusive video on patreon.com/Jay Vincent where I discuss the science behind why a calorie deficit is not necessary to build muscle, and it is a myth. So if you want to watch that video, go ahead and join. But I'm going to go ahead and discuss the basics behind that. So first, think about how little sense it makes to only be able to build muscle in an energy abundance. Now, a lot of people don't really think about this, but you need to realize that our physiology, along with the physiology of every other animal on the planet, evolved and developed in an environment of a starvation-like environment, a food-scarce environment. Starvation for the human genome, along with almost every other animal in the animal kingdom, face starvation frequently. So we needed to evolve in order to survive in starvation conditions and survive in an environment of food scarcity. There were very few instances throughout our evolution where we would have a food abundance. Only within the past, maybe since the 1950s, shortly after World War II, have we been in an environment of food abundance. Even prior to World War II, starvation was a real problem for Western society. Starvation is still a real problem for about 1/3 of the world population, maybe even half. So our evolution depended on our ability to survive in a food scarce environment. Now, the purpose of adding additional muscle tissue is to add additional contractile capability or strength. The only reason we would add or improve our muscle's ability to overcome force or demands placed on it by improved strength to survive. So if building additional strength, and along with it, of course, muscle tissue, is an adaptive response to improve our likelihood of survival, then we're obviously going to need to do this in a food scarce environment since we evolved in a food scarce environment. So evolutionarily, it makes absolutely no sense that we would develop a physiology that only allowed us to produce this adaptive response that was necessary for survival, more muscle tissue and strength, in a food scarce environment. We would not have survived. Because think about it this way. The only two times an animal, or even our human genome, would encounter such deep levels of muscular stress and fatigue are in two situations. One, trying to prevent our cells from becoming something else's food, fighting it off, sprinting away, escaping, etc. Or trying to hunt and catch and get something to make it food. These are the only two situations where the human physiology would encounter such deep level of muscle fatigue. Other than that, the human physiology or the human species, along with many other animals, is relatively sedentary. We try to conserve as much energy as possible. You never see an animal jogging for fun, okay? In those two situations, if we were not successful in trying to catch something and make it food or prevent ourselves from becoming food, these are two very important survival scenarios. For instance, if the cheetah, or even us, we were hunter and gatherers, we were hunters. If we were chasing down the antelope and we exerted all this energy and we just missed it, evolutionarily, we would need to adapt and respond and improve from that situation in case the next opportunity came. So think